So in the previous classes we started with the new chapter, and that is motion and measurement. When we talk about the motion is what? Changing the position of a body with respect to time is motion. Now motion is also divided into different types. In your syllabus that you have to study included rectilinear motion, circular or rotational motion, and that of the periodic motion. If we talk about the rectilinear motion, rectilinear or linear motion is a motion in which a moving object is moving at a straight line. Like if a car is moving at a straight path, that kind of a motion is known as a rectilinear motion. If we talk about the rotational motion is a motion in which an object moves around its own axis. That kind of a motion is a rotational motion, like rotation of the earth, rotation of the moon, and at last that of the periodic motion. So periodic motion is that motion in which an object repeats itself at a fixed interval of a time. That kind of a motion is a periodic motion. For example, swinging of the pendulum is the best example. So it includes the to and fro motion, and such kind of a motion is a periodic motion. Now today we'll start how to measure the distance. So we had discussed the different types of a motion. Now you see student, there are some of the object which execute more than a one type of a motion at the same time. Okay, so we can say that one object, it is not necessary that it will show only one kind of a motion, but it can show the more than a one type of a motion at the same time. How? There are some examples by which we can understand that how different objects they can show the more than a one type of motion simultaneously. Now if you see here, you will see that an automobiles are there, and these cars, they are moving on a straight road. Okay, so if it is moving in a straight road, such kind of a motion in which an object is moving at a in a one direction in a straight path, that kind of a motion we called it a rectilinear motion. Okay, so this kind of a motion in which the object is moving in a straight line, its object is following a straight path, then we can say that automobile, here it is showing a rectilinear motion. Now not only rectilinear motion, if you'll see the wheels of these cars, automobiles, then you will find that the wheels which is present in these cars, they rotate. Okay, and that kind of a motion is known as a rotational motion. So here the car, since they are moving following a straight path, moving in a straight road, that's why the motion which is shown by these automobiles is rectilinear motion. But the wheels which is present in these automobiles, they rotate. Okay, and they shows the different kind of a motion, that is a rotational motion. So here rectilinear motion as well as that of the rotational motion, both of the motions are working simultaneously. Okay, so this situation is what in which more than a one type of a motion is shown by the object, rectilinear as well as rotational motion. You can take another example also. If you see, this is a ball. Okay, so this ball is rolling, right? So this ball is rolling on that of the of floor, or on any of the platform. So that kind of a motion, because since it is following a straight path again. Okay, so this ball is rolling on a floor, then it exhibit a straight path, and that kind of a motion is again the rectilinear motion, because it is moving on a straight path. Okay, so it exhibits rectilinear motion, and since it is rolling continuously, so we can say that not only it is following the straight path, but its own motion is rotating, is rolling. So such kind of a motion is a rotational motion. So again here, since it is moving in a straight path, so it is showing the rectilinear motion, while moving it is rolling, and that's why we can say it also shows the rotational motion. Okay, so it is following the path and rotating also, so we can say that it exhibits more than a one type of a motion, and thus it is having the rectilinear as well as that of the rotational motion. Okay, now we take the another example also. We have studied about that of the rotational and revolution, students. So you see, rotation is what? In which an object it moves on its own axis. That kind of a motion is a rotational motion. Okay, and revolution is what? In which an object moves around the another object. That is revolution. Okay, so if you see here the movement of the earth around the sun, or movement of the planet around the sun, or the satellite moving around that of the earth. So here the motion of the earth which is surrounding that of the sun, it executes two type of a motion. The first one is the rotational motion. How this earth it is continuously moving on its own axis. Okay, so that's why it shows the rotational motion, as well as it shows another kind of a motion, and that is known as a periodic motion. So you know, student, since it is suppose if it is started from here, okay, and at a fixed period of a time it will comes to its same position. Okay, or we can say it will cover the same distance in a fixed period of a time. So that kind of a motion is a periodic motion. So here the earth execute rotational as well as that of the periodic motion. Rotational motion is what? In which the movement of the earth it occur on its own axis. Okay, so that kind of a motion is a rotational motion. We know that the earth rotate on its axis. So it shows a rotational motion, as well as it's showing the revolution around that of the sun. So this kind of a motion is what? Where the earth started from one position and it covers the same distance at a fixed period of a time and finally come back to the same position again, same point again. So that kind of a motion is known as a periodic motion. So this motion which earth execute, it can be with that of the moon also, satellite. So you know that moon also show rotation, so it also moves around its own axis. Okay, as well as you know that the moon it surrounds around that of the earth. So here also the rotation and revolution process occur. So rotation motion is the one motion which is shown by that of the moon, in which it moves on its own axis, and finally it covers this whole distance of the earth. So we can say that it covers the same distance in a fixed period of a time, and that kind of a motion is known as a periodic motion. Okay, so here either that of the earth or that of the sun, both of them are showing a two kind of a motion, that is the rotational motion as well as that of the periodic motion. This it can be happen with that of any other planet also. Okay, so moon, earth, sun, or any other of the planet, if they are showing the rotation and revolution, we can say that this shows the two type of a motion, that is a rotational and periodic motion. I think these are the different example which makes you to understand that how an object simultaneously show the more than a one type of a motion. Okay, so more than a one type of a motion can be seen in an object. Okay, so these are the different examples. Okay, so student, this chapter basically we talking about the motion and the measurement. Okay, so motion, there are different kind of a motion which is shown by that of the different object, and we had given the different names for it. Okay, we also studied that an object can show more than a one type of a motion also. Now before going further and understand the concept of the measurement, we should understand that what actually is the history of the transportation. Okay, because when we talk about the measurement, we will talk about that how we will measure that of the distance or the time. So before going further, we should understand that what is the history of the transport. Okay, so you see that today we have various means of transport to move. Okay, uh, that is from one place to the another. But how this get evolved, how the people they are able to move from one place to another in the earlier times. So in ancient time, people they do not have a means of transport. So they basically used to move from one place to another either on foot and carry their goods on their back or in hand. Okay, and to travel across the boat, they used to make a simple boat, maybe by made by that of the tree trunk. So these are the different means by which the people they used to move from one place to another. Okay, so they move either by foot or by carry, and as well as by carrying their goods on their back. Okay, after that when the human they learned to use animal or learn to tame animals, they started transporting themselves. Okay, and they started transporting their things on the back of the animals. Okay, like that of the camel or that of the donkey or mule or horses. So these are the different kind of animals which was used by the people, ancient people, when they came to know the that how they can use the animals for carrying their goods from one place to another. Later on, by knowing that the fact that the animals are able to carry the thing, the invention is carried further, and it led to the invention of that of the wheel. Okay, so the invention of the wheel, it also led to the development of a variety of mode of a transport. Okay, so we came to know about the animals, that how the animals they are useful in transportation, and when the wheel get invented, then we came to know that what are the different mode of a transport we can use with the help of these wheel, or we can make with the help of these wheel. So with the help of the wheel, the first thing which is made, that is a bullock cart. Okay, so bullock cart is what in which the two bulls are there, and by which the people they used to transport their things from one place to another. Later on, from bullock cart, this will led to the invention of the steam engine. Okay, so steam engine and that of the petrol engine, it get invented for carrying the goods. And finally the invention is carried from the steam engine to the petrol, and it led to the development of a modern means of transport. Okay, so the modern means of transport, it include that of the cars or the buses or that of the trains or airplane or motorboats. So these all are the different modern means of transport that we use today. Okay, and it also help in shortening the distance from one place to another. So you see that how the things getting changed now. Okay, so car, buses, train, aeroplane, motorboats, these all are the different means of transport which help in transferring, or which help in the minimizing the distance of two places. Then electric rail is there, monorail, supersonic jet, and the spacecraft. These all were invented in the 20th century. Okay, and these are having very high speed, and due to which it can be, if you see the satellites or that of the spacecraft, so these all are making the distance very short because of their speed. Although you see that this invention does not stop here, still the modes of transport is continuously invented by the different scientists. And if we see that the future mode of transport, it may include the solar powered vehicles. Solar powered, it means the vehicles which can be operated by using the solar energy. Solar energy, student, it means the sun energy, the energy which is taken by that of the sun. So the solar powered vehicle and the automated vehicle run by that of the computer or by that of the robot. So these are the different kind of invention which may occur in the future and which may lead to the further development. So you can see or you can understand by this that how the things are getting changed from a person who is moving by foot by and then using the different animals for carrying their goods, and finally the bullock cart after the discovery of the wheel, then from there to the modern means of transport, that is a car, buses and aeroplane, and later on the supersonic jets, electric trains, spacecraft, and in future it may be that automatic vehicles which is operated only by that of the computer and robots. So this is the we can say it is the history of the transport, how the transport system is getting evolved day by day. So now we will discuss about that of the measurement, student. So you see that we come across various physical quantity in our everyday life. This may include length, mass, time, area, volume, temperature. So these all are the different physical quantity which we use in our day-to-day life. Okay, now these the quantities that we are using, how large or how small quantity we will use, it basically depends upon the different kind of a situation. Okay, so either it is a length or a mass or that of the time or a volume, area, temperature, all these quantities, they are having some large quantities, there are some large quantities, and there are some small quantities too. So what we have to use, or the idea about how these quantity are useful to us, it basically depends upon the different kind of a situation. How? For example, if suppose we went to a shop, then and we buy something, we buy few things, groceries and all, then the shopkeeper start measuring the mass of a different items, like that of the rice or the sugar or the salt, etc., before selling them. Okay, so he used the a measurement, he used to measure the mass of the different items, and by using the type of a quantity, he measure the different items and sell them. Not only this, if you see that of the milkman, so milkman, before giving to the milk or before delivering milk to the different houses, the milkman used to measure the volume of the milk. Okay, so basically it may be 500 or 100 ml or 1000 ml. It totally depends. Or we can take an example like that of a carpenter. So carpenter, while making a table or any kind of a wooden sheet, the carpenter used to measure the area of the wooden sheet to make the table. Okay, or a doctor, the doctor used to measure the temperature to find whether the patient has fever or not. Okay, so with the help of the thermometer he used to measure the temperature. Or you can see a tailor measure the length of the cloth to stitch a dress. So what is all these are the different kind of a situation in which what type of a quantities we should use, that is a volume or the temperature or a area or a mass or a length. It totally depends upon the different situation. When the shopkeeper was there, he used to measure the mass. When the carpenter was there, he used to measure the area of the wooden sheet. A milkman is there who used to measure the volume of the milk, and a doctor is there measure the temperature. If we talk about the tailor, he used to measure the length of the cloth. Okay, so these are the different kind of a quantity to measure something. Now see, by this we come to understand that measurement, it is there in our everyday life, or we can say that it is an essential part of our everyday life. Whatever things we take or we use, if it is needed, we used to measure it and then finally we use it. Okay, so it is a part of our life. It is an essential part of our day-to-day life. Now, the use of the measurement, it not only make our life easy, but also it help us to save our time, our effort, as well as our money. For example, if you want to visit a place and you decided that whether you will go on by foot or by a vehicle. So this situation, that if you are going to a place and you have to decide that whether you want to go by foot or by a vehicle, it totally depend upon the distance to be covered. If the distance is more, then we will surely use that of the vehicle. So it depend upon the distance to be covered, as well as it also depend upon the time available. It means how much time we want to reach there. Okay, so it totally depends upon the time available for a person, as well as the what is the distance. Okay, so it means that the measurement of a distance, it will help you in choosing the right mode of transport. Okay, because you see that if we want to go somewhere, then we will decide it according to their distance. Okay, distance is more, we used to go by vehicle. If distance is less, as well as if we are having a sufficient time, then we can go by foot only. Okay, so in choosing the right mode of a transport, the measurement of a distance also help us a lot. Not only this, that the measurement of the distance not only help in the choosing the right mode of a transport, but it also help us to decide that at what time we should move. Okay, so it totally decide the distance, as well as it totally decide the time by which we can reach there. Okay, so measurement, it plays a very important role in deciding the distance or the time. So we can say that the measurement, it involves the comparison of an unknown physical quantity with a standard measure of the quantity, and that we call as a unit. Okay, so it basically a comparison between the physical quantity with the standard measure, and we use a term for it, that is unit. Okay, so this is the totally a concept of the measurement, that what is the need of this measurement. Now when we talk about the measurement, students, so you know that the ancient time also the people they used to travel, or they used to measure the different kind of items or different kind of objects. So they do not have a proper measurement devices. Then how they used to measure the different parts or different objects? So in earlier time, the people they used different parts of their body. Okay, whether it is a footstep, or whether it is a hand span, or whether it is a arm length, or we call it as a cubit. Okay, so they use different body parts to measure anything. So we can say that people they use different parts of their body as a unit of measurement. Okay, so ancient time the unit of measurement or unit of the length is the different parts of the human body. For example, if we talk about the hand span, so hand span is what? The distance from that of the tip of the thumb and the tip of the little finger, that is the hand span. Okay, so when we fully stretched our hand, then the distance from the tip of our thumb to that of the tip of the little finger decides, or we can say that is our one hand span. If we talk about the foot step, so foot span or the foot step is the same thing. In some of the book you will see it is written as a foot span or a foot step. Okay, so foot span, it is also a way of measuring the length. So what is the foot span? Foot span is the from the that the 1 foot, the distance covered by 1 foot, that is the foot span or foot step. When we talk about the cubit, cubit is your arm length. Okay, that is from your tip of your fingers to that of your elbow, that is your cubit. So these are the different body parts that we use to measure the different objects. Okay, now see, the ever units that we were using in the ancient time, do you think that it is reliable, it will, or it will gives a correct measurement? No, these unit of measurement, they are not reliable, and it is because you can see that the hand span or the foot step or that of the cubit, all the different length of the body parts, it varies from person to person. If suppose a person is of small size, then the hand span will be less. If person is having good length, good heighted, so good height, then we can say that it is having a hand span, it is having a good hand span or a long hand span. The same thing with the foot step. The foot also varies from person to person. Not only this, the arm length. Arm length is also not similar for all the human bodies. Okay, so it varies from one human to the another. So these different kind of units of measurement that we use, it not reliable for measuring the length of a body part. Okay, length of any of the object. Okay, because these body parts, they varies from the person to person. So what happened afterward? If these are not reliable, then with time different countries they develop their own system of unit and their own system of measurement also. So we can say that different countries they were having their own unit and their measurement, and because of that this led to a problem in the business while dealing between the various countries, because the same quantity it appears, or they are having the different unit and measurement in the different countries, or which we can say that the same quantity was appearing different for different people also. Okay, so this system, it is not reliable, and afterward the different development of the unit and measurement by different countries will also lead to the problem, because they uses the different unit in their own language, on their own country, and due to which the same quantity appears differently with the different people. And to remove this problem, the scientists, they comes to the conclusion, or we can say that the scientists, they developed a standard system, and that standard system to measure anything, or we can say the standard system of a unit is known as a SI system. Okay,